Okay, we're live. 9:30. Sorry, we're just a little bit late. And hey, I don't have my headset on. I had everything ready. I don't have my headset, so I'm gonna put that on real quick. And what we're going to be talking about today is your three biggest fears or limiting beliefs. We're bringing on Angel Ribo, who is a coach of over 1,500 CEOs, and we'll be talking about that, and also bringing on your live questions. So I'm inviting Angel Ribo, as I said, coach of over 1,500 CEOs, and hi, Callie. And thank you for watching. I'm going to wave at you because it's a new option that Facebook has given me. So I just clicked a button and now I'm officially waving. So we'll be bringing on Angel here in just a moment. There he is on the screen. And it says add him. So we're going to add him right now. All right. So it's adding him right now. I'll be on in just a few seconds. And there he is. Hi, Angel.
There he is.
All right.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
Good morning.
Good. Thanks for being here.
What is going on?
Well, I wanted to tell the audience kind of what precipitated our live broadcast today and what we're covering. And so we did the event, Tap Into Your Genius, this Saturday. And of course, you were one of the presenters, performers. And so it went very well. It's all about, that genius is not just for the few, but it's for all of us, that if we can tap into the same techniques and processes that geniuses use, that we too can achieve amazing things. And one of the first things that I think is important in really tapping into the genius part of your brain is to overcome, hey Alan, and Talvin, overcoming negative thinking, any limiting beliefs that we have. And that we have to do that and get our mind right before we can really fully reach our potential, I think, as to how we were designed to be. So I wanted to cover that today. And so also we did a little exercise at the event, and that was asking people for their three biggest fears or limiting beliefs. And so in keeping the program going that night, we weren't able to get to it. So I wanted to honor the guests that were there that night that gave us, wrote down on the card what they're dealing with. And hey, Allison. And so I wanted to do that, but also open up to the audience if you want to discuss this as well. Any fears or limiting beliefs that you have. And Angel, as I said, for those who are joining, hello, Chenpei, who are, since you've been a coach of over 1,500 CEOs, maybe addressing live what some of the things that they're dealing with. So anyway, Angel, so why don't we just get right to it? And we'll address one of the first fears that one of the attendees at the event was dealing with, okay? Sound good?
Yes. Maybe, the first thing maybe is to say hello to everybody. The second, we are here for you. So this is an event for you. We are here to help you. So any question, everything is allowed. Any question you want to ask, you want to raise, we are here to help you, okay? The same way we did with all of our attendees to the event that we did on Saturday. So absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, one of the first questions that we've gotten was, I talked to him off camera. This will be all anonymous, but he was a person who's running a company with a number of employees, and his biggest fear is what he called going through an event of what he calls collateral damage. So that's kind of heavy, but he defined it more. And that was, he's concerned if there was an economic collapse, and he has all of these people working for him and people that are perhaps the sole breadwinners for their family, what would happen in that situation. But his problem is he worries about that a lot.
Okay, good. So the first thing I would like to tap on is actually about this idea that there's so many families that rely on him. There's so many people that rely on him. And because this is actually, you mentioned what are the top, limiting beliefs or concerns that the CEOs have. Something that they do very often still today is actually I survey my audience. I survey the CEOs that I serve. And number one, consistently, their teams is the number one reason of concern. So this is a very, as you said, this is a very normal concern, because As your
Yes.
company grow, obviously more people work with you, but and at the same time, you know, your responsibility grows. I understand that. Second, obviously, you understand that this is a fear, right? This is a fear. But the reality is that there's a concept called like the flow of wealth or the flow of abundance that I would like to tap onto. Because sometimes, even if when we grow our businesses, we don't realize that our company is actually a place, or our business is a place where the wealth is flowing continuously, okay? So we are actually allowing all of our employees and all their families, thanks to the wealth that we're able to generate, we are allowing them to be part of that flow of wealth, okay? So your concern is, what if something happens and that flow of wealth is actually being stopped? So I understand that concern. Let's go back then to what a company is. So a company is a group of people that have defined a certain system, a certain way to work to generate value for their clients. That's what a company is. And a company, as being a group of people, is also, as people, as you know, I mean, an anatomy is 99.99999% energy. So that means that we are actually, and companies are actually energy. And it's not only energy, it's the, you know, it's the addition of the energy of everybody in that company. Okay, so the number one thing I would say is this fear that you have of, you know, if something happened, where does it come from? Okay, where does it come from? Where's the origin? As you said before very well, all my experience comes from one source, which is being since 1990, I would say 96, 97, you know, working with CEOs, first in Europe, then in the Americas, and helping them with their businesses and with their lives. So that's where my experience comes. So I want to say, you know, everything that I'm going to say, probably you've heard it before. You don't have to believe it. If it's, you know, there's even things that myself, sometimes I even doubt, but I see that in companies every single day. So I just know that this works. And I just know that everything relies on energy because we are energy. So going back to your concern, when you have this fear, it means that inside of you, in your brain, there's some neurons that are, you know, have been wiring together, are wired together and have been firing together for a long time. So that to the point that you believe now, as if it was a reality, that can happen. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. That's thought, the limiting belief, and that's common for all the beliefs. It's just an idea. It's so engraved in your brain that it's always, you know, those neuronal connections are always firing together. So you have wired those neurons. So you think that can happen, that can happen, that can happen. But what if you actually purposefully you started to tame those connections? You started to tame your thoughts, and you started to actually think about new reality. That's the number one thing, okay? To start creating a new reality. But you know, as we said in the event last Saturday, you know, the number one thing that you have to do is to go and tap into your intuition. Go inside yourself. That's the first thing. That's the first step in order to achieve what I just told you. First of all, go and find your intuition. The number one thing that we like to do, and you know, and executives like to do, is to be deprived of some of their senses. So you know, they close their eyes, you know, they put maybe some earphones, as we're doing today, and they concentrate on their breath, right? So number one thing, number one step for overcoming is to do this consistently. Number one is go and tap into your intuition. Your intuition is continuously talking to you. Okay, there's an internal voice that is continuously talking to you. You have to listen to it. Okay, so that's number one.
Right.
Yeah. You know, number two is, you know, as I said before, we are energy, and we have developed all those connections. Okay, so we have to transcend. Again, I'm going to say it again. We have to transcend those connections that have wired in our brain. Okay. Typically, CEOs and established entrepreneurs, because I serve both communities, they both have been really, really strong. Their minds are really, really strong. They've achieved so much success, but that doesn't mean that they don't have limiting beliefs. You know why, Jeff? Because actually our brain is being conditioned since we are born until the age of 6. Until the age of 6. Isn't it crazy? So it means that way before we become entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs or CEOs, we already have a ton of limiting beliefs. So nobody is safe of not having limiting beliefs. So society, when we are born, starts entangling our nature. Our nature is to be happy. Our nature is to tap continuously to our intuition. Our nature is to be willing to play, to have fun, not to have limiting beliefs that makes us feel wrong and bad and fearful. That's not our nature. As you know, and the audience knows, I founded Wisdom for Kids, 3 years ago, after a spiritual epiphany experience. And why I'm talking about this now, because at Wisdom for Kids, what we do is we help kids, underprivileged kids in Latin America, become entrepreneurs using the local resources. And we started working with them at 7 years old. What does that mean? That we already have all those kids with all those limiting beliefs. But thank God, they're still much more open than us. Thank God, they're still willing to play those games. So,
yes,
what do we have to do? We have to imagine, we have to create a reality. I call it an ultimate scenario, okay? I call it an ultimate scenario. You can call it a reality in which you have to think, you have to create a new reality in which that fear doesn't exist. But not only that fear doesn't exist, you have to actually replace it for something else. And that's very important. Limiting beliefs are only replaced by new beliefs. Don't think that you can just delete a belief. You have to create new beliefs. That means that you have to consistently create beliefs, new beliefs, having neurons inside your brain to fire together consistently. I'm going to say that again, to fire together consistently. And that's how you are going to create new, wired connections, which are thoughts that are going to replace those limiting beliefs. That's why, number two, become completely conscious, being energy that we are, know that our body is the number one problem that we have, the number one issue that we have, because we have those limiting beliefs in our body, in our brain, and we are fully aware of those limiting beliefs, because as soon as we start feeling them, we also have a rush of chemicals, and you will see that very often. Let's say you take the newspaper today. CEOs typically read newspapers or online news, and then they read, this, worldwide, trade possibility didn't close, it didn't happen. Maybe the economy starts to shrink, and maybe I start, suffering and perceiving that something wrong is going to happen, and the clients will start not spending as much on my business. Okay, so that's definitely not. And then you start feeling that fear already. You start having those chemicals inside of you, right? So be aware that you have to transcend your body. That's why first we step into our intuition. Second, we transcend our body because we know that our body is where our fear resides. Third, we create that ultimate scenario. How do we create it? So we have to start thinking about how that new reality would look like. And do not focus your energy, because we are 99.99999 of your energy. Do not focus your energy on those old beliefs, which I know they're engraved in your brain. I know they are there, but create a scenario. And I would advise you to create the scenario and actually to write it down. My favorite strategy to overcome limiting beliefs and to write new scenarios is something called scripting. It's like scripting your life, scripting that scenario. If you think something is going to go wrong in the world, it's going to affect your business, and it's going to, oblige you to, unfortunately, dispose of, or unfortunately, not being able to continue hiring those employees, just write a script that will go like that. I woke up this morning. Okay, so I woke up this morning, or I have woke up this morning, and I went to my, and I read in the news that there was this amazing, trade agreement that was just signed today, and that's gonna, give a lot of trading opportunities, worldwide trading opportunities for this country, for the U.S. And this means that specifically companies in my industry, are going to have this amazing opportunity. So I went to my office. I just took my car as usual. I went into my car, and then you start literally scripting everything that you would do in the morning, in which you, for instance, just to depict a scenario that would be, good for you, would be, I arrived in the office. I had this email that had come from someone on LinkedIn, and I talked to that person, and I started a conversation. And after that conversation, actually, that conversation became a business opportunity for me. And right today, I signed this contract with that company. Okay, so again, you have to script it. You have to script it with as many details as you can, as many details as you can. Okay, and describe it as if it's happening now in present tense, or is in past tense as it already happened. But it has to be really, 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 really in a high level of detail. When I'm saying high level of detail, it means that you have to incorporate thoughts, statements about your five senses, okay? So you have to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm smelling, this is what I'm tasting, this is what I'm touching, this is what I'm hearing, okay? So all those things you have to describe while you're scripting the ultimate scenario. And you literally script it. And, our subconscious mind, where all those limiting beliefs reside, unfortunately, it opens up twice a day. One is in the morning when you wake up, and the other one is in the evening when you go to sleep. That's proven. That's scientifically proven, okay? So my advice is script in the morning. The first thing that you do in the morning, script. You don't have to type it on a computer. You can script, you still have the ability to write that, right? So
right, and we're scripting out. We're scripting out our best scenario, or the scenario that we're fearing. What exactly are
what we are scripting is
out?
a new scenario in which that fear doesn't exist. It has vanished. It doesn't exist. Okay. But if we were to script, so what's the reality? As we are all energy, everything is energy. Our company is energy. Our employees are energy. The reality is energy. If we script what we are fearful about, then unfortunately, we are actually given more power, more energy to those thoughts. And we keep on working on those thoughts and those neural connections that are already wired, that are the basis of our limiting belief. That's why I'm saying, hey, please stop thinking about your limiting beliefs.
Callie.
I know they're going to come back. I know that. But write down anything about a new scenario in which those limiting beliefs do not play any role at all. Any role at all. Okay? Any role at all. Script your new life. Script your new scenario. The new things that are going to happen to your life thanks to that new life that you're going to create. And the great thing is, the most powerful thing that, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs or established entrepreneurs that already have some business structure and CEOs have, is that they have a team. Isn't it amazing? They have a team that they lead. So they actually can have all their entire team join them on that reality that they are scripting. And that's extremely powerful. Let me give you a hint here. There's an amazing book called The Power of Eight that talks specifically the power of eight. It talks specifically about
What's the power of eight?
The power of eight. It talks about the power that we have as human beings to intend for something or someone and to actually change the reality of that person. That's not woo-woo, that's reality. Okay? So there's this book called The Power of Eight. The author is a lady called Lynn McTaggart. It's a very famous book. Lynn McTaggart, the book is The Power of Eight. And she says, and she has demonstrated, that groups of between 8 to 12 people intending together for a period of time, they are able to actually change someone's reality. Lynn McTaggart has gone really, 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 really way further than that. And she has organized intention experiments, that's how she calls them, intention experiments on a worldwide basis, in which she has been able to organize thousands of people in the planet to intend to lower the violence rates on places in the world where there was war conflicts. And she has been able to statistically prove that thousands of people intending to lower the rate of violence in that particular place, it has really gone down, which is amazing. Why I'm saying that? So imagine the power of the employees of a company all intending together for the goal of that company. That's extremely powerful. To be honest, I really don't know of any company that has done that before. But I invite you, listen to that. That's an offer. That's an offer from me. That's an offer from Jeff. And that's an offer also from Oliver. With all due respect, the the other participant in the event the other day. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Performer. Excuse me. Performer the other day, which is, we would love to help you create powerful intentions inside your companies. Okay, we would love, and we are offering our time, our effort, and our expertise to help you create power of 8. If it's less than 8, we still can help you create those intention experiments inside your companies to help you create those realities that as a company you want to create. Okay, so let me tell you what my experience has been, right? Because I didn't believe that.
Sure.
You know, I happened to hear that. I happened to hear that when I went to a workshop. And before going to a workshop, I was just watching some videos online. And obviously, I mean, I believe in intuition big time. And I'm having goosebumps right now, Jeff, so that you know. So it means that we are connecting to our audience right now big time. So I went to that event and I saw that interview to that lady. And I said, okay, I went to that event. And when I went to that event, I said, okay, I'm going to find 7 people in that event. And we're going to intend. These 7 people live in many different areas, 4 different time zones in the US. And we started to meet every single morning at 8 a.m. for only 10 minutes. I'm not talking we're going to be kind of woo-woo intending or, meditating for half an hour every day. No way. We have been right now for 32, 33 weeks intending only for 10 minutes every day for something specific, which was we wanted to accomplish something to show that our energy could actually unite and do something. And we have had amazing experiences. We have changed. We have helped people in the group to overcome, different challenges that they have. So what I'm trying to say is, companies have an amazing power because they're formed by people. Every single one of us has an amazing power inside of us, and we can tap into our power, and we can create that in our lives and in the companies that we work with.
Let me ask you this, Angel. We talk about in a corporate setting, but what about say individuals who have a business or whatever their career is, as not having a whole team of 8? What if they were? Could they use perhaps a mastermind group or a group of business friends that they meet with on a regular basis for intention or prayer or in the same capacity?
Oh, absolutely, they can. Absolutely. What we were saying is just. It's just a way. It's just an option because when we are helping limiting belief, we're helping executives with their limiting beliefs. Typically, it's just their own limiting beliefs, and they overcome those limiting beliefs by themselves. And what they do, is creating those scenarios continuously, and then deploying those scenarios every day in their business lives, in their personal lives. But yes, can they still join other groups? Absolutely. They just have to meet with 8 friends. Really, literally, with 8 friends, and they can start intending together. Obviously, the main difference between meeting with a group of 8 friends or a group of 8 people in a mastermind group, which is obviously a mastermind group, for the people that don't know, is a group of people that meet, that they share certain expertise, and they share that expertise in order, for the good of the entire group. So absolutely. So they can go to a mastermind group, and they will share experiences. But again, I want to focus on that. I organize intention experiments. It only takes 10 minutes a day. That's it. All of you guys intending together for something. Really. And obviously, I'm not saying that, but what if someone has some sort of challenge, health challenge? Start intending all together to overcome that particular challenge. The only thing you have to do is actually you have to create some sort of coherence. excuse me, that's why I was saying before, what can we, what do we have to do all together so that we are working together for that purpose? So we have to have something in common. We have to start, having an intention that is going to be a common intention for everyone.
I actually was thinking about what you were saying there another day, and we have a friend that had a son has a health problem, and I was just thinking if we can come pray together or through intention, can we affect a different outcome for the health problem? And so, in terms of say the study that Lynn McTaggart did, are there any stories that you know of where perhaps that intention created a result for a business or someone's health changing? Anything that perhaps that was studied? I think that we all have prayed during our lives at different times, and sometimes I think we even wonder, does prayer even work? But I think this is encouraging to know that through intention and prayer that that we can make a difference. We can change perhaps a reality. And to be a little esoteric, you're talking about everyone is energy. So if we're putting out a potential energy towards someone that's positive and healing, perhaps we can change our reality around us. I think that's what you're talking as well, and dealing with fears. So is there anything, say from Lynn's book that you read that story that stood out about someone's health was affected by intention or prayer?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't remember exactly the war zone that it was, but what she did is she did it very scientifically. So it was in Asia. It was in a conflict in Southeast Asia. Exactly, it was a conflict in Southeast Asia. I don't remember exactly what it was. And what she did is first, she went to United Nations officials and local officials in that country, because the UN had been deployed in that place, to know exactly what the violence rates were. So how many people were being killed, how many people were really wounded every single day, every single week in that particular area. That's what she did. Second, she opened up her, a specific website in which she started to say, okay, so we want to create a change in that particular place in the world. And then she started to ask people to sign up, right? And she actually had an application form, so she didn't allow everybody to be in the experiment, right? So she actually made a selection of people that was going to be in the experiment. So everybody would then be kind of trained of how or what to intend or how to intend, because you have to learn how to intend. Okay, so she put together literally several thousands of people that signed up. They went through a screening process, and she approved a few thousands of them. And then she said, okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to intend specifically to lower the number of murders, that the people that are being killed in that area, or people that are being wounded. And we're going to do it on that particular date, on that particular time, and for that particular period of time. Okay, so everybody, those thousands of people showed up, or actually didn't even have to show up. It just individually in the places where they were, they just started to intend for lowering that. Because when you are intending, you have to be extremely clear. There's a very, very important advice that I can give you now, which is, if you want to intend for something, or you really want to create something new in your mind, that has to be very, very, very well described, very well, it has to be a very clear intention, very clear. That's why I mentioned before that you have to use your 5 senses in order to describe anything that you want to create. So in your intention, you have to be very clear of, according to those 5 senses, how do you describe that you're intending for. And second, you have to make sure that you're using the most elevated emotion that you can use. Okay, so how do you do that? The most powerful energy that we have as human beings is love. Okay, if we had to say what is the place in our body where we can generate the highest amount of energy, what is it? Where is it? It's our heart. By far, our heart is an amazing energy love pump. It's like that. It's been measured. There's machines out there, there's devices out there that measure the energy that our body generates. Really, that exists. And the energy that we generate with our heart is a million times, well, it's not a million times because it's been measured, but it's several thousands of times much more powerful than our brain. So having an elevated emotion, thank you, Kelly. Having an elevated emotion definitely helps us in making that intention a reality. So again, what happened in that particular place through that experiment with Liv McTaggart? What happened is that she was able to reduce the level of violence by 25%. So she was she was able to reduce the amount of people that were being killed at least for 25%. And the same thing with wounded people. You can read all those details in that book, in the book, The Power of Eight of Liv McTaggart. And that's obviously a book that I recommend. We were talking about businesses. I have not tried it with businesses, but I have tried it with business leaders or with, personally in their lives. So what happens in their lives? If you want to intend for something, and again, I'm going to our tap into your genius. So number one, get aligned with your intuition. Close your eyes, start a breathing exercise, and make sure that you're listening to the power that you have inside of you, which is your intuition. Number two, you are aware that you have to overcome your body, okay, that you are all energy. So put all your energy on creating, on transcending your physical body, okay? Number three, describe this new reality. Intent. Make an intention. What is your intention? In this case, what is your very clear intention? I want to intend for this. That's my intention, okay? That's my intention. And while you are intending, that's what I want to create in my life. Yeah, hey, you use all the power of your heart to intend and to imagine that this scenario that you want to create is happening in reality. And then the most important and powerful experience I've lived in the corporate world and with established entrepreneurs in their daily lives is the concept that their lives and their businesses is a game. Is a game. What do you do in a game that you typically don't do on your life? Very easy. That you don't take things personally, right? You don't take into consideration your limiting beliefs as much as you do on your life. That's why game is so powerful. That's why successful CEOs and established entrepreneurs that I have seen, they take their lives and they take their businesses as a game. And games, there's versions of games, and then you can take different roles in the games. Do you see how much you can play with your mind and with your intention while you're playing? And do you see also that kids love playing, and they in an innate way, they love playing, and they are all the time playing, and we see that in Wisdom for Kids all the time. So do you realize that successful CEOs are really like kids? But unfortunately, they still have those limiting beliefs. And if we went back to where we were when we were kids, and we were able to impact those places where they were when we were kids, we would be able to have and to reconstruct all those limiting beliefs that we have today. So another reason I want to tap on this limiting belief of, if something happens, if you're really detailed and you're consistent in doing that scripting, I'm 100% sure that, if it was Tim, right? You said it was Tim who had the limiting belief, or who was that person that you had?
No, I was just leaving it anonymous.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who you had.
No, it was not Tim.
Okay. No, sorry. I mean, I didn't know if you mentioned, because I couldn't read their hearts. But
that's okay.
It's when we are playing a game, we don't care about the perfection of the action. We don't care about we just take the action. We just take it. We just take the action. So imperfect action is something that we see every single day, that successful entrepreneurs and successful CEOs do every single day. What is an imperfect action? Imperfect action is, hey, I don't know if that's going to work, but I just want to give it a try. Let's do it. And we do it all together. Okay? Excuse me, as a company, or if you are by yourself, you do it yourself. Imperfect action. Imperfect action is a great predictor of something that might work in the future. Okay? So again, take your life or your game or your business as a game, and at the same time take imperfect action on a consistent basis. Yeah, Robert is saying paralysis of analysis. Absolutely. So, that's one thing. When we are kids, again, I love my dad and my mom. They still live back in Spain. But, when we were kids, they were saying, you have to do this the right way. You have to do this the right way.
Right.
So we became all like perfectionists. I was a crazy perfectionist myself during my
Yeah.
life. But I realized that if I wanted to have my CEOs and I wanted to have my entrepreneurs to move forward in their businesses and in their lives, they have to take consistently imperfect action. And taking imperfect action, teaches you so much. And then let me tap into one specific business concept, which is the lean startup. Lean startup. The lean startup became very famous a few years ago. The lean startup is that concept in which you start your company with almost nothing. And the only thing
Right.
you care about is you talk to your potential
MVP.
clients and you ask them, do you think that would work? Do you think that this idea that I have would work? That's why it's called lean startup. You don't start investing money. The only thing is that you look for your potential clients and you start talking with them and you ask them, would that work? Would I be able to add value to your life or to your business if I was going to do that? And that's the lean
Right.
startup. And that's the most imperfect action I can think of is I don't have anything, but I still go and talk to my clients and I ask them, hey, would that add value to your life or to your business, depending on what kind
Sure.
of venture you have. And that really works
Well,
because you already have some feedback from your market before you do anything else.
right. Actually, a part of the Tap Into Your Genius thing that we did the event on Saturday together, but I'm actually building a course around this, and you know about this, and a membership site. And so for me, I would love to actually work with the audience and those that can direct message me, finding out exactly what they want, because I'm putting together a course on what is genius. So the first module is going to be about what we're talking about today, breaking through negative thinking and limiting beliefs, because I think we have to get our minds right first before we can really tap into the genius part of our brains. But, what I want to find out, though, is through the modules I'm putting together, talk to my audience directly, find out exactly what they want. Through the lean startup methodology, his example in his book is that, he was creating this software. It's amazing. And all these bells and whistles, they worked it for 6 months and they put it out and like, oh, I don't want it, And so using the lean startup methodology, you create a minimum viable product and put it out there and hear from your customers and then iterate, then change, imperfect action, get it out there and get moving. And so I would just say also in putting together the event, it was just a great learning experience for me. I've done that before, but just, learning so much rather than having it be perfection, just getting out there and, marketing, talking to people. And we had so many wonderful people show up. It's been such a great learning process. And then you, of course, I run into someone like you in this entire process and you become a part of it. And that's wonderful. So I think just begin to fall together. If you have a focus and a purpose, then they begin to fall together. And that's actually going to be in the second module that I'm putting together for the course. And that is finding our purpose, our vision for our lives, because I think that geniuses often have a passion for what they're doing. So anyway, just that's with the lean startup methodology. And so I encourage anyone who wants to direct message me or questions about, tapping into genius, what you're doing, or questions you might have. I appreciate that. Also, I want to continue with this, Angel, if the audience likes it, talking about limiting beliefs and fears. And then even, like I said, honoring those who came to the event. I want to continue going through some of the fears that they were gracious enough or took the risk to share with us in the near future. What I want to do is open the floor to anyone who's watching. If you have a particular fear that you don't mind putting out there, a limiting belief, and have Angel address it live here. And so I'll ask for that, but we're also going to be approaching this here in the near future. And so anyway, let me ask you this, Angela. We'll look to see if anyone gives a question on screen, but let's go to another fear that a person was talking about.
Before you go into another fear,
yeah,
let me just say something really
yeah,
briefly.
it might be a long,
Because
yeah,
that's gonna be very important. I think that whatever it is the path that you follow to overcome your limiting belief, I think that
yes.
the method or the technique has to be simple, fast, and fun.
Oh,
Simple,
why is that your
fast,
formula?
and fun. Okay? So that's why
Yeah,
you will never hear me saying something or following a ton of different steps to do something. I think, and that's my experience that with successful people,
yeah,
anything that we want to do in our life or overcome in our life, if we're trying to follow a process or a technique, that technique has to be simple, very easy to do. I mean, scripting is so easy.
yeah, right,
It's easy. It's fast because you just write.
yeah,
I mean, you just start writing, and you write for as long as you wish to. I mean, there's no. I haven't told you, script for 30 minutes, and then it has to be fun. Hey, the more fun you make your scripting, the more energy you are putting into that scripting, the faster it's going to become a reality. So again,
I like it,
simple,
yeah,
fast, and fun. Okay, and I guarantee you, all of you, when you watch this video, that for sure, Jeff and I, we're going to make sure that anything that we develop together is going to be simple, fast, and fun. Okay,
I
so we
like
make
that,
sure
yeah,
that you guys have fun and you change your lives doing it. That's extremely important. Very, very,
I
very
agree,
important. Okay, so sorry
yeah.
about that. So please go with the following limiting belief.
No, I agree with you entirely, and I think I think I might have talked about this, but yeah, I just think that what I find is that when men develop things, it's usually often complicated and often falls apart. But if you look at designs in nature or God, it's simple and it's powerful. And so I love that, and brevity being so important, simplicity, just great stories that can tell a particular point that drives it into someone's mind and they never forget it. I think that is a great point on what's really effective. So why don't we deal with hey, simple, fast, and fun. I like it too, Callie. Okay. So
Thank you,
so
Kali.
anyway, so all right. Why don't we go with this one? All right. So another person that listed on the card on the event Saturday night was that they just feel like they can't make money fast enough, and they just are afraid of that.
Okay, perfect. So people in the business environment will realize or will understand it very well because obviously generating revenue fast, it's in the mind of any single CEO on earth or established entrepreneur. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, whoever Mr. or Mrs. X.
Yes,
Again, I apologize because I used the name before without knowing anything.
that's
So
fine.
again, you know, um, fast time. Okay, so time is one of the number one sources of stress in our lives. Time, time, fast enough. What is fast enough? Define fast enough. Well, fast enough is so I can save money. Let's say so I can save money, so I can generate money enough. So the number one advice I would like to give you is number one, go into your intuition. Okay, so find yourself, close your eyes, deprive of your senses, go inside. Number two, okay,
Mm-hmm.
time is really, and again, let me make a comment here. I have made hundreds of interviews because I am a host for a TV show, okay?
Right,
And
on
in the TV
Mondalia.
show, the TV network, what we do, we are, worldwide leaders in human potential. So I have interviewed a ton of people which are much smarter than me, okay? Much smarter than me. But they listen when I interview. I listen, okay?
Right.
So time is something that we perceive, but really time is a human construction, okay? So the first thing I would tell you is relax. There's no hurry, there's no rush. Because when you think it's not fast enough, you're putting resistance into your life. That's as simple as that.
Mm.
And people in the business world will also realize that what I'm doing is something called objection handling. So actually objection handling and handling limiting beliefs have a lot in common. Okay, and what we are doing here is we are driving you into a place in your psyche, in your mind, in which you can feel comfortable. Okay, so you are not in a rush, because the more in a rush you are, the more you're putting walls into your capacity, into your ability of creating wealth. It is what it is. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to stop taking action and taking imperfect action and a lot of imperfect action. It just means that don't think that you're not creating it enough, because if you do that, you are engraving in your brain those neuronal connections that show you, time and time again, that you are not generating money fast enough. Okay, and I don't want you to do
Right.
that. So then
Right.
imagine a world, and then we're going to step 3 for the scripting. Imagine a world in which you generate money fast enough, or even so fast that you are not able even to count the money that you are creating. It's so
I like
fast
that problem.
that that you get the phone call from the bank saying, "Are you sure that all those checks that we just got in today are yours?" Can you imagine that? And well, you see that. Someone the
That's a
other day
good
told me, "You're
problem.
opening your eyes. You are intimidating me, Angel. I'm just trying to be fun." Hey, put fun in your life. Script with fun, and you will be
Yeah.
overcoming this limiting belief that you're not creating the money fast enough. When you
Right.
relax and you don't put resistance and you stop believing that that's the case, the money will start flowing. But I have to say something. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. You will only generate wealth as far as you are able to generate value for the rest of the world. Okay, so wealth
Yeah.
comes, and that has been my experience with CEOs and established entrepreneurs. Are you generating value, any sort of value, with your example, with your vulnerability, with your testimony, with your business, with what you do? Are you generating value for enough people? If you are not doing it, then you're limiting yourself. Okay, so let's take
Right.
this video, this live, performance today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take this live
Yeah.
performance today. We are
Sure.
exposing ourselves. Definitely, both Jeff and we have some fear of being here today, but still, we want to help you guys. We want to really genuinely help you. That's why I made
Yes.
an offer before, or, I'm going to help you. We are going to help you to establish those intention groups inside your companies. So, again, hey, put fun in your life. Put fun in your life. There's no rush. As far as you deliver value to your audience and you start exposing yourself today, you are starting to generate value, and the speed at which you create wealth is going to increase. Let me give you one way to start generating faster revenue today. Just one, very
Okay.
easy.
I'm
And
open.
actually, I used it
Yes.
earlier with a very famous filmmaker in Dallas. I told that person, if you want to start generating value, expose yourself and go to as many networking events you can, wherever it is that you live. What happens when you start exposing yourself? What happens when you start exposing yourself
Yes to me.
continuously and talking to other people? People ask you, what do you do? And that's an opportunity for you to say what you do. It's so simple. How many networking events? We are based in Dallas, but anywhere where you are, it doesn't matter. Just, go to the internet. How many events are happening, networking events are happening every single day? 5, 10, 20, 30, every single day. People meet and meet and meet and meet and meet. So just go to those events and talk about your business. Is it possible, Jeff, that, going continuously to networking events, you could find clients that you never thought you were going to find? Is that a possibility?
Very much so. I'd also just want to jump in there if I could, because I know that person you're talking about.
Awesome.
And what I find is that, and I love to go to networking events where there's truly like there's going to be some wonderful people there that I know there's going to be connections and so what I find is that whether finding someone that's in my business, I find connections where synergies happen. And you and I met during Dallas Startup Week. I met some wonderful people last night. A young girl who has a media company. He's doing some amazing things. There's a really cool event coming up in September. And then another guy, a couple of guys that do podcasts called Coffee with Kyles. So there are two Kyles. But anyway, they had this wonderful energy, and they want to connect here, and they have a wonderful podcast that is very successful on LinkedIn, different places. So what I find is that when we have an intention, we have a focus on what our goal truly is very specifically, and then we go to these events and we talk about what is our passion, then people from all different walks of life begin to come into our life that help us to make our dreams come true. So yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. And the other day during the event, the performance by Oliver, the other performer.
Yes, Oliver Bennett Schlaffer.
Exactly, Oliver Bennett Schlaffer. I mean, her music is just of an outer world. It's just it literally, it literally transports you to the unknown, to that place where there's no time, there's no rush, there's just pure joy. Okay, so again, music is a way in which you can tap into your intuition. Again, we're trying to give you here different hints, different ways to tap into your genius, so that you can start making changes in your life immediately, knowing that we are energy. Music changes our energy.
Very much so.
Being intentional, going to an event, changes our energy, because we are already putting all that energy in that intention. There are people, a lot of people, and that is also something that CEOs and entrepreneurs have in common. They have this intention every single morning when they wake up. They say, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going for. This is what I'm going for. This is what I'm going for. When you go to an event, do the same thing. Today, in this event, I'm going to find 3 amazing people that are going to change my life and my business forever. And it's going to happen. And you start rehearsing it, and you start saying, yes, I will enter the place, and one guy will come and, will shake my hand, and then that person will look me at the eyes, and he or she will have a very intense energy, and blah, blah, blah. If you start being intentional about everything in your life, your entire life will change. And again, there's a ton of people much smarter than me that have told me that. And you will probably remember Dr. Wayne Dyer. He used to say, when you change the way you look at things, those things change. It's so simple.
Yeah, I heard that just yesterday.
You see? That's just a coincidence. You heard it yesterday, so it's just a synchronicity. Of course, because this happens all the time.
Yesterday.
This happens all the time, guys. We are energy, okay? We are what comes out of the power outlet. That's who we are, with a 99.99999% of who we are. So what you see of me or what you see of Jeff is only the 0.0000001%. You see?
Representation of who we are.
Exactly. Yeah. But unfortunately, on this 0.00001% are the chemicals and the limiting beliefs wired on our brain. But we are not our body, and we are not our thoughts. We are not our body, and we are not our thoughts, because we are aware of them. We are an awareness. We are able to be aware of those 2 things. Again, I don't want to go again. I really listen to everybody that I am able to interview at Mindalia TV. And also I use that all the time with our kids in Latin America. But I hope that I was able to give some light to the person that said that he or she wasn't generating, money fast enough. And obviously, take your life as a game.
I think it did.
Take your business as a game. Really. I mean, it's so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I also wanted to say, in terms of networking, what I do, you were talking about going in with an intention. What I do is I don't try to force anything. What I do is I look at people's expressions and I go, who has a good energy that I want to meet that person. Awesome. And invariably, that's the person that I connect with, because that's what I want. It's like, who's the, and then I go, all right, if this is flowing, I just go with it. I guess go with it. I'm missing someone over here, but this is really good. And then I just look for that to happen, that natural occurrence. And I'm not looking to gain any business from them. I'm looking for a connection, and then also to learn about them. And so what happens is invariably is I meet wonderful people who end up being a part of what I'm doing, and we find ways in which to help each other. So I don't know, that works pretty good for me. So that's my suggestion.
Exactly. I mean, and talking about expectation, it's different to say, I'm going to be tied to this to say, I'm going to be open to that possibility. That's what an intention is. You'll have described it very well, Jeff. Thank you. So you are open to that possibility, and you are focusing on receiving that. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Because again, to the person that said, I'm not making money fast enough, another question I would like to ask that person is, are you open enough to receive that wealth? Are you open enough to receive that wealth or not? What's the reality? Are you really doing it or not? You know, that's another question. So, and isn't it funny also that when you enter a room and you actually see who you think is going to be, who think is in a higher energy, or who shows a higher energy, so you feel more positive energy, you feel attracted to that person. The funny thing is that not everybody would be attracted to the same person. Would you agree?
That's true. Sure.
Exactly.
Of course.
So that's why, you know, as Einstein said a long time ago, we live in a world of not Newtonian physics, but quantum physics, right? And everybody, all of us, we focus and we see the world in a different way, and we put our energy in a different way. So every single person going into that same room would find different people in that space.
Yeah. And then just think about it. When we talk about having groups of 8 or a mastermind group, I think that then we begin to see the world differently as well. We see the reality that that person is living in, and we can think, oh, wow, that's a better way of thinking, a better way of believing. Or we lead and guide our friends or companions to a higher level together. And so I just to encourage once again your idea on the power of 8, our intention, prayer, our mastermind group. Well, okay, Angel, I think that's going to be good for us for today. I want to encourage people. We have an intention to do another one of these. So if you'd like that, please, direct message me. And if you want to direct message me on any kind of limiting beliefs or fears that you're dealing with, we want to do this again. I want to just thank you, Angel, for being a part of this. As I said, Angel has been as a coach for over 1,500 CEOs, and he also has a good heart. He started Wisdom for Kids, and if you want to look that up, it's wisdomforkids.today. Is that correct?
Correct. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, and the vision behind that, if I may say it, is that he wants to empower the youth in Central and Latin America, South America, through entrepreneurship to help lift them up out of poverty. And I think that's a wonderful thing, Angel. And so I think that's great.
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
Thank you very much. We are here to definitely, we are here to, to serve everybody. We are here to help everybody. Where to find us. If I may, I just would like to give everybody my two pieces of information. Number one, my email address. Number two, my phone number. Again, we are here to help everybody. My email is very easy. It's angel@angelribo.com. Angel@angelribo.com. My phone number is also very easy. It's 469-412-6355. 469-412-6355. I'm very often on the phone talking to a lot of people. Feel free to text me anytime. And again, we are here to help you tap into your genius. So it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to serve everybody today, Jeff.
All right, thank you, Angel. And I'll be announcing the Tap Into Your Genius course here soon. Actually plan on launching it in September. We'll be developing it and doing more programs like this throughout. And I hope that it'll be something very special that'll help people to be able to tap into the genius part of their brain and really live to their full potential, I believe, the way God designed them to be from the beginning. Okay, thank you, everybody, for watching. And until next time, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.